सुन्दरङ्गं कन्दार्पकोटिकमनीय विशेषाशोभान् गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गनीयस्यं सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पन्ति कलयन्ति जीरां जगन्ति अनन्ताशिमया साधु ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् 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 आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakate Shatma Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakate Shatma Bando Mui Shavadhana Mate বন্দো মুই সাবধানা মতে যাহারা প্রাসাদে ভাই এ ভাবা থরি যা যায় যা দেবাই হে বাবা থরি যা যায় কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হই যাহা হাতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হই যাহা হাতে গুরুমুখা পদ্মবাক্যা ছিচেতে খোরি যায় ক্যা গুরুমুখা পদ্মবাক্যা ছিচেতে খোরি যায় ক্যা শিলা প্রভুপাদ হার না খোরি হো মানে আশা আর না খোরি হো মানে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রাতি হেসে উথমাগতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রাতি হেসে উথমাগতি যে প্রাসাদে পুরে সারভা আশা যে প্রাসাদে পুরে সারভা আশা সাক্ষুদানা দিল যে জামে জামে প্রভু সে সাক্ষুদানা দিল যে জামে জামে প্রভু সে दिव्या ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हो दिव्या ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हो प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अभिध्या भी न सजाते प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अभिध्या भी न सजाते बेधे गाए जहारा चारे तो बेधे गाए जहारा चारे थो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनरा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनरा बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना शीला प्रभुपादा लोकेरा जीवाना शीला प्रभुपाद लोकेरा जीवाना ओ हा हा प्रभु खोरो धो जा देहो मोरे पारा छाया ओ हा हा प्रभु खोरो धो जा देहो मोरे पारा छाया हे भेजा गुसु त्रिभुवना हे भेजा गुसु त्रिभुवना शीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद शिला प्रभुपाद गुरु पूजा की जय
Hari Bhajagacharya Jasta Tarasata C.C. Mother's Divine Grace C.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Paramahansa Hari Bhajagacharya Jasta Tarasata C.C. Mother's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopina Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Gangamayi Ki Jamunamayi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Brihat Mridanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Shri Radha Madhava Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari. Janaballabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari. Girivardhari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariviragacharya Astatarasatasi Simad. His Divine Grace is Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hopefully the people that have come from distant places have made it here. Probably some people are in transit also. You've seen this slide before. This is just a repeat. This is part 2. The next step yesterday evening was, the headline was entering the mood to prepare ourselves for what's coming. And now the actual presentation itself, the next step. So this is then the next step, and then our 64 round day. So acceptance, after preparing ourselves, at least the concept here, the message is accepting oneself, accepting Krishna, accepting others. That's pretty broad. And then this afternoon, the next step, service mood. And there's these subdivisions and then illuminations. So we're going to be discussing number 2 here, acceptance. So there's the 2 options this morning and this afternoon. So starting with acceptance. There's steps. You get the imagery. The next step, heading towards Radha Krishna, because we discussed, at least notionally, an intention. Why we have come together is to bring ourselves, through the chanting of the holy name, closer to the personality of Godhead. So that's the fellow walking up the steps, and emphasis on acceptance. There's a similar fellow, he's dressed a little differently, but he's heading in the same place. Alignment. To take the next step, we need to understand the goal. To do the sadhana, we need the sadhya. What's the goal? Sadhana is sadhana if the sadhya is in perspective. So that's the alignment message. Align ourselves with the goal. Align our body, mind, and heart with the goal. Some years ago, during a japa retreat, there was one devotee in the assembly during the 64 round day, and they were falling asleep during the 64 round day. So, I tried to be discreet, but very discreetly or politely, you're sitting like a sack of potatoes. And so they weren't very attentive because of, Bhakti Siddhanta was said that his back was as straight as an arrow, always, very, posture-wise aligned, because his consciousness was aligned. And so body, mind, and heart, these 3. And clearly identify the goal. It's nice. What's the goal? We want a warm, vibrant, personal, palpable relationship with Krishna. And whatever that may mean, because there was a question yesterday about our spiritual identity and our spiritual relationship with Krishna, all of that will become revealed as we become purified and freed from coverings, etc. And as his associate, whatever that eternal relationship is that's awaiting us. And then there's where we are and where we want to be. So this is making reference again, because in past japa retreats, that was one of the main features of the presentation, was the liminal space. So many of you have attended those japa retreats, so you know the meaning. But for those of you that have not, there's where we are, there's where we want to go, and there's a big gap in between. That gap in between, that's the liminal space, in between this and that. There's a liminal space. And how to step over, how to close the gap. This is the next step. At least the theme is the next step. When we are closing the gap with sadhana, fueled by focus on sadhya, may you have a wonderful experience doing that tomorrow, every day. There's a huge qualitative, joyous experience that doesn't compare to distracted bungee cord type sadhana. Bungee cord, you know what bungee cords are. You don't know what a bungee cord is? It's an elastic cord. It has a hook on this end, it has a hook on that end, and you put the two hooks around something and it holds the something in place. Bungee cord. Stretches, hooks. So bungee cord type sadhana means, it's very flexible, too flexible. It's, sometimes and sometimes not, and often not. So sadhana that's not focused, distracted, bungee cord type sadhana. Inconsistent sadhana, anishtata bhakti, anishtata sadhana, anishtata japa, unsteady. Sometimes focusing, sometimes trying to focus, and then quickly that focus gets dissipated by something. And then we realize, well, we got distracted again, so that's bungee cord type sadhana. So the next step, that's the appeal, at least, of this whole presentation. Let's make the next step away from that distracted type of chanting. Here's a nice instruction from Rupa Goswami on this very same point. You all know the verse. We can say the verse together. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtatano smrityo kramena rasanama nasi niyogya tishtan rajeta anuraga janagami kalam nayat akilam ityupadesha saram. Translation. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Braja. In this way, one should reside in Braja and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So this is a short way of describing what Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti is. It's sadhana bhakti that's targeted or aimed or focused upon Krishna's associates in Vrindavan. And following that path, that's the spontaneous devotional cultivation, sadhana. It can carry one, there's potency that can carry one to that position. And there's a purport, in the purport, reference is made to this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and same from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You all know the verse, let's say it together. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuna karya vraje lakshata. In the transcendental realm of Vraja, one should serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates. And one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna, and should follow in his or her footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, practice, and in the stage of sadhya, when one is a siddha purusha, or a spiritually perfect soul. So we've somehow got really high really fast. And a nice example of this is in the image on the screen here. This is Jiva Goswami giving instructions. Of course, Jiva Goswami wrote elaborate commentary on Rupa Goswami's writings, including Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and his three principal students. One who has a shaved head, the other two they became grahastas. Nice understanding. So I hope you had your seatbelt on, because we're really moving quickly. Yesterday, we heard, of course it was a little interrupted, but I've been told the sound system is now fixed. We heard a recording of a nice song or poem or writing of Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Sharanagati, and that I mentioned that message that he presented is echoed by Bhaktisiddhanta. Now Bhaktisiddhanta here is introducing other terminologies, so don't spin out from the terminology. Understand the essence, please. So he's going through stages. The first stage identified. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana, Dasha, the stage of hearing. Simple. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, the Hari Katha along with Hari Nam, one can attain the stage of acceptance, which is our topic. Vrana, Dasha. I hope you have your seatbelt fastened, because we're going to keep going higher. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha. And then, when one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of smarana vashta, the stage of remembering. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna smarana. Make sure your seatbelt's fastened. After smarana dasha, or samadhi, has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he or she can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called sampati dasha, the perfection of life. a little comical comment. There was a devotee somewhere who had this idea that their guru will reveal to them their Siddha Sarup. So they wanted to know, what's my Siddha Sarup? They should read Bhaktisiddhanta's writings, because it's revealed, and the instrument through whom Krishna reveals may be the guru, but it's at a very elevated stage. So if you want to know, like this question yesterday of our rasa, or our nature, it will be revealed, and as we heard, it's dynamic, quite dynamic. Dynamic meaning it may be oriented this way, and then at another point in time that way, and then another way, and then back to, so it's very dynamic, although there's a primary force. At least this is Prabhupada's explanation. Perfection of life. Acceptance is our next step, so going back to that step, that's at least, the message from for our japa retreat, or our festival of the holy name. The stage of acceptance. Here's the same message in a little graphic form. There's Shravana, Dasha, where one practices hearing, and material attachments slacken by that hearing. The covering is gently, gradually at least, removed, and it leaves the stage of acceptance, where one becomes attached. What's a nice image about being attached is a little child and some object, a teddy bear or something that they are attached to and they can't do without it. In a childlike semblance, but the spiritual is attached to hearing. And it may come to the stage of remembrance. Chant in ecstasy in different ways: recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, trance, samadhi. So stages of remembrance. And we have nice examples. The stage of trance from Scripture. And it's very elevated stage. So, but the sadhana can lead to that stage. And then finally, self-realization, love of God, fully awakened. Sampati, dasha. So next step, let's go back to the stage of acceptance. Varna dasha, there we are. At least that's our focus, the intended message for this. Acceptance is the opening of the lotus of the heart. That's a statement. The graphic is just to illustrate the statement. There's a lotus, the image of a lotus, and there's the heart, and the lotus of the heart. It's poetic. It's an imagery comparing the heart to a lotus, and as in the sunshine, the lotus will open, and through the sunshine, the shining of the holy name, the opening of the lotus of the heart comes in this stage of acceptance. So there are different ways of looking at what that acceptance is. There's the same fellow with the beads in his hand walking up the next step towards Radha Krishna. There's these stages. We're going to touch on each of them. Self-acceptance, accepting ourselves in relationship with Krishna, accepting Krishna as our master and benefactor, accepting the path of bhakti, accepting others in relationship to Krishna, accepting challenges and uncertainties of life. That's the liminal space topic. Somehow, by divine arrangement, there's always a difficulty. And even you spend, a substantial time reducing the difficulty, then 10 more appear. And they're new ones and fresh ones, and isn't life like that? And it can be something, it can be anything. It can be health, it can be relationship, it could be your occupation, it could be so many things. And then, the uncertainty factor. So here's the self-acceptance. Self-acceptance. We are insignificant in relation to Krishna and his universe. With a little graphic to demonstrate how insignificant we are. Are we comfortable with being insignificant and quite ordinary for the rest of eternity? So here's the graphic. And the image is going to change. It's like, technology. It's going to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So we're in outer space. Hopefully it works. There we go. She is Louise, and there's a restaurant. You see the text at the top. Where the restaurant is in a Googleplex, the Google headquarters, and keeps going up and up and up. And there's the city, there's San Francisco Bay, from Google headquarters. Western USA, planet Earth, keep going. The Earth and the Moon, lunar orbit, asteroids, keep going. You see at the bottom there's 1 billion kilometers away, the outer planets. I don't even know what these terms are. Dwarf planets, inner Oort cloud, outer Oort cloud, stars. We're up at 100 light years away, 1,000 light years away. We're quite insignificant, yes? We're not done yet. Milky Way, galaxy neighborhood. Supercluster, cosmic web. Now we're going to go back down again. We're at the Google headquarters in San Francisco, the Bay Area. And we'll end up with Louise again. So we're quite insignificant. That's the message. The graphics are helping us to get a perspective. What to speak of the spiritual realm beyond the material realm. What to speak. Speck. Quite insignificant. There she is. Louise. We are servants in relation to Krishna. We will never be promoted to being the boss. Never. We are eternally relegated to servitude, which is nice. In fact, we are servants of the servant, many times removed. Are we fully accepting of this? This is the self-acceptance. We broke our relationship with Krishna. We have 100% responsibility, unlike a normal interpersonal mundane conflict. Do we fully acknowledge our ownership of this problem? This is self-acceptance, Krishna acceptance. Now, this is, you recognize the painting, very nice painting. Finally, Gopakumar makes his way to Krishna's association, and Krishna embraces him. So it's acceptance from our side and acceptance from Krishna's side. Since Krishna is already one's best friend, Suhridam, we must not take his affection in the relationship for granted. We attempt to chant with soul-level emotion, yearning, please accept me. That's a nice phrase we'll see several times. Please accept me. Please enter into the chamber of my heart. Now he's there, but emotionally, subjectively, experientially, I want to feel, I want to have my interaction with the holy name like that. I feel his presence through the sound of his name. Unless we realize how unclean and unqualified we are, how will we chant, please accept me, with any feeling? Rather, there will be certainly a sense of entitlement. It's a problem, entitlement. So, please accept me. Such a nice exchange in Brihat Bhagavatamrita when Gopakumar finally makes it and Krishna embraces him, and Krishna says many things. I thought, surely he'll come back to me in this lifetime, but you didn't come back. And then the next lifetime, and I thought, surely he'll come back to me in this lifetime, but you didn't come back. And go through several of those. Now you're back, please don't ever go away. Again, Krishna embraces Gopakumar. So when that stage comes, the please accept me becomes matured and Krishna has accepted, there's no coming back. There's no, Krishna will permit. So this please accept me mood, there's a nice reference, Srimad Bhagavatam, this mood of Queen Kunti, expressed in Kunti's prayers, material exhaustion, akinchana. So, is she ready? She's ready. This is an interactive session. And Hemangi drew the short straw, and she's going to lead us in this session. So I'll just let her go forward.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So as you see on the slide, we are all very familiar with this feeling of this material exhaustion. And that's one of the reasons devotees like Maharaj very often do these retreats. So it kind of helps us to realign with our actual purpose of why we are here, why we are part of the Hare Krishna movement, and what is our goal. So this is a practical, this short brief session that I'll be doing is practical application of what Maharaj has been speaking. So I would really request all of you to not shy away from being vulnerable in your relationship with the holy name. If you really, really want to experience all that Maharaj has been talking yesterday, today, in all these 20 years of Festival of Holy Name and Japa retreats. So we are going to take 5 minutes before we start our Japa together to prepare ourselves to receive Nam Prabhu in our hearts with a very specific appeal. My dear Krishna, please accept me. So as you see on the slide, let's, before we, prepare our hearts to receive Krishna in our heart, take a couple of minutes to write a list of ways that we feel disqualified to be accepted by Krishna, and here are some examples, but you can write your own personal. Don't make it a very exhaustive list because we don't have time. Just pick one or two things that is very close to your heart at this moment, write it down, and then we will move forward with this presentation.
Remember yesterday you had that little blue card? If you didn't get one, ask for one later. You can put it in your phone, that's okay, but don't get distracted by text messaging.
Are you all ready with your list of one or two things that you want to focus on for this session? Okay. It would be nice to understand why these sessions are inserted in Maharaj's presentation. His intention is that when we go through these practical, experiential exercises, here we can, whatever we experience here, it has a very different impact on our heart because there is this Maharaj as a speaker, he has a very clear intention what he wants for us. And it's happening in presence of the Supreme Lord, Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar, in presence of our founder Acharya. But when we go home, we kind of sometimes lose that focus. So Maharaj's intention is that it's not just for today and tomorrow, in the evening we'll be doing this, experiential sessions, but he wants you to take this experience and apply in your day-to-day japa journey. So please make a conscious effort to just not limit your journey in this session only. Take it home and keep applying, and you'll see the magic happen. So let's start with, like I said, becoming conscious of the space we are in. Like yesterday, Maharaj briefly talked about the internal and external space, sacred space that we create right before we do japa. Like I mentioned, we have the Supreme Lord, our founder Acharya Maharaj in our presence. So just be very conscious how rare and unfortunate this is. We see this very often, so we take it for granted, but how many souls are really making this conscious journey? Not many in this universe. So we are so fortunate that every year, repeatedly, at multiple locations, multiple cities, we get to experience this. So we saw that in today's presentation, Maharaj talked about aligning the mind, body, and our heart, so that we can achieve our goal. So I request all of you to actually, sit comfortably, whether you're sitting on the floor, or you're sitting on the chair. Keep your back straight. Take 3 deep breaths. Imagine yourself to be like a dry sponge which is about to soak in all the namaras that you're going to receive. Yesterday, Maharaj made a statement, change the consciousness from doership to relationship through the medium of name. Now, from your body, take your attention to your mind. The mind is constantly processing and is busy accepting and rejecting whatever we are hearing and seeing. So for all the thoughts that are not related to the Maha Mantra, keep them aside. Gently talk to your mind. Oh, my dear uncontrolled thoughts, I know you want my attention, but for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take you, put you in a beautiful ornate box, lock you, and you're safe there. And I'll come back and pay attention to you once I'm done being with my friend Krishna. Visualize yourself locking that box and keeping it safely somewhere. Now, let's take our attention from our body and our mind to our heart. Maharaj, in the past 1 hour, opened our hearts to receive the holy name. He mentioned how by accepting who we are and who Krishna is, it helps in opening the lotus of our heart. A lotus flower blooms in the rays of the sun, and the mercy of the Lord is like those rays. Krishna's acceptance is always there, otherwise we won't be here with our present conditioning. But it is for us, but it is for the softening of our hearts that we need to call out in this mood, Krishna, please accept me. It helps the heart not only to soften, but also to be in a receiving mood. Now, visualize yourself entering into the sacred space to meet a very, very important personality with all your sincerity, eagerness, alertness, and enthusiasm. Being very well aware how unqualified we are. As Maharaj said yesterday, just be open to whatever Krishna might reciprocate. Now slowly take your hands in your bead bags and chant in this prayerful mood. Hare Krishna.
Nice. We'll continue with this topic, this reminder, this power of acceptance, or the stage of acceptance, the step of acceptance. This a very nice verse we're all familiar with, Chaita Darpana Marjanam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Cleaning the mirror of the heart has a cooling effect for everyone. Let's say the verse together because it's nice. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyabadho Jivanam Anandam Bodhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamratasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Just before Rath Yatra, the Gundicha Marjana pastime occurs, and as is indicated, it has a cooling effect because Rath Yatra is during a very hot season, and making the Gundicha temple clean has a cooling effect, inviting for Krishna to come, or Jagannath to come and take shelter there. So, as we imbibe acceptance, that's the preliminary to shelter taking. They go together, shelter taking and acceptance. And the appeal is not the doership one, but appeal to Krishna to accept us. We're doing something, calling, and there's an emotion or a feeling. Krishna, please accept me. So you recall going back, there was different levels of acceptance. So this is the third of those three stages. Accepting Krishna as our master and benefactor. There's some nice teachings. We like teachings. So the Pandavas had been banished from their kingdom for 12 years, and then 1 year incognito. And before that happened, there was the humiliation of Draupadi, because they had won Draupadi, because Yudhisthira gambled his wife, which is the wife of all five. So then the command was, strip her naked, she's our property. How vicious. Draupadi looked intensely at each of her husbands, despite their awesome material prowess, strength, wisdom, skill. They didn't respond. Finally, she called out to Krishna when there was nobody to help her. This is the acceptance message, accepting Krishna as our benefactor. And sure enough, Krishna appeared. So we're just, are we hedging is, that's a financial term. I don't know too much about it, but hedge your bets. If I do this, I'll get that, hopefully. So she wasn't doing like that. She had no place else but one place. And Krishna came in a celebrated manner. Then there's another circumstance, which we're going to spend a little bit of time with. On the images on the right, that Duryodhana had been visited by or invited Durvasa Muni to pay him a visit in Hastinapur, and he treated him in a royal way, him and his 60,000 disciples. Durvasa Muni was very pleased. Durvasa Muni then requested, "You've pleased me very nicely. Please ask for a benediction. What benediction would you like?" Being cruel and calculating, "Oh, I don't need anything at all. My hospitality is inadequate to match you, but Yudhisthira, he's far more qualified, and not only he's more qualified, he has this Akshaya Patra, this magic pot, and given to him by the sun god, and so everything will be nice. You go pay a visit to Yudhisthira afternoon, please." Calculating the Akshaya Patra will not produce after Draupadi has taken her meal. So she had taken her meal, and there was the unlimited supply of 60,000 followers. So the way the narration goes is not just Durvasa Muni came, but a representative of Durvasa Muni came to visit Yudhisthira and his brothers, indicating that very soon Durvasa Muni is going to come with the 60,000 disciples. Immediately Yudhisthira could understand this is Duryodhana's arrangement. So the illustration on the right, they're all five, except Yudhisthira, holding their heads, what to do? Get the dissatisfaction of Duryodhana, Durvasa Muni, on top of everything else. And of course, most of it fell on Draupadi. So there's Draupadi in big anxiety. So we may also be in big anxiety sometimes. I know some people that have some big anxieties. And what to do, what to do, what to do. She looked down the road knowing there's only one person I can rely on in circumstances like this, and that's Krishna. So she looked in the direction of Dwarka, and much to her surprise, she saw the top of a flag of Krishna's chariot, and then gradually the dust, and then, the chariot appeared, and there was Krishna. From that chariot descended the wonderful personality Krishna. So she offers a very nice prayer. Here's the very nice prayer, and hopefully technology is going to cooperate so you can hear the prayer being sung. So this is drawn from Padyavali, Rupa Goswami's writing, and Rupa Goswami has drawn something from Mahabharata, written by Vyas, and Krishna is her benefactor, our only benefactor. Let's see what happens with the sound.
Tamasiravirivodianmagjatamaplavānam plavaiva trishitānam svādhuvarshivamega nidiriva nidanānam tīvra dukkāmayanam vishagiva kushalam no dhātumaya dishauri.
Lord Krishna, who is like a sun rising in the darkness, like a boat to the drowning, like a sweet rain cloud to those dying of thirst, like fabulous wealth to the poverty-stricken, and like an infallible physician to those afflicted with the most painful disease, has come to grant auspiciousness to us.
20%. Huh? What to do? Should we do it again? One more time. Notice the artwork There's Krishna seeing the rising of the sun. There's Krishna rescuing drowning persons, coming to them in a boat. There's Krishna who is calling for some downpour of rain to those who are parched. There's Krishna coming, giving jewel to an impoverished man. There's Krishna giving comfort to a dying man. And as Krishna is our sole benefactor, Draupadi is offering this prayer. He's the one that we can rely upon in the most dire of circumstances, and life has its dire circumstances. And so, if the appeal is genuine enough, Krishna, please accept me. Krishna, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm here.
Tamasi ravirivodyanmagjatam aplavanam plavaiva trishitanam svaduvarshiva mega nidiriva nidananam tivra dukkamayanam Vishagiva kushalam no datumaya tishori.
Lord Krishna, who is like a sun rising in the darkness, like a boat to the drowning, like a sweet rain cloud to those dying of thirst, like fabulous wealth to the poverty-stricken, and like an infallible physician to those afflicted with the most painful disease, has come to grant auspiciousness to us.
One of the many verses that Rupa Goswami has drawn upon to make this collection of verses, their Padyavali collection. Very sweet. I became familiar with this from a presentation made by Hari Parshad Prabhu, who didn't have this, technology of someone singing the verse. But his comment was, may we all be fortunate like this, because Krishna is very kind. When the most difficult of circumstances come in life, Krishna will be there. May he grant, especially at the passing of this life to the next life, that our mind be absorbed in Krishna. Some of you have seen this image before, and for me it's like, it's a contemplation daily in japa, and it floats around in ISKCON here and there, but I've received it and like it. Actually, the person who I received it from was Shyamasundar Prabhu in Houston. Because for a long period of time, he was conducting a japa retreat call. Some of the devotees in the room were part of that japa call. And this, he told me, he places this image, on his desk, on his japa table, and it's the appeal, Krishna, please accept me. And then Krishna's response, you're calling. So now, from our side, just be present when you're calling Krishna and know that Krishna is with us. I like this very much. For me, the image means we wish to cross over the ocean of material existence, so Krishna brings a boat and sets us in the boat. That little fellow with his back to us, that's us. And Krishna is then speaking to us, just be present with me. You're calling my name, I'm present. Be present, be conscious of Krishna's presence, and know I'm here. nice. It's a nice meditation. It's a nice absorption in being present with Krishna. I'm here. So, when Krishna came, Draupadi expressed her difficulty, and Krishna said, bring the pot, and he found some little spinach in the pot, and sure enough, while they were taking their sacred bath before eating, it looks like his tilak didn't get washed off yet either. They were feeling full, so they didn't come back. No worries. So there's Draupadi looking down the road, seeing the dust from the hooves of Krishna's chariot. You know, like, what are you doing here? Well, you need me, so I came. And in our case, it's, you know, conditioning is we want material happiness, but material happiness doesn't provide satisfaction. You know the Bhagavad Gita verse, hi samsparshajam bhoga yoga dukkha yonaya evate. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So she, Draupadi, is, you know, a nice example for us. Shelter in Krishna is the only means of real satisfaction, real happiness. And we've heard it so many times. And, you know, so this festival of the Holy Name, the whole overall experience, certainly our 64 round day, but the whole experience is an opportunity to connect more with that state of fearlessness. Accept Krishna. That's the acceptance theme. So here's a nice statement Mother Teresa has written. When we don't accept an undesired event, it becomes anger. When we accept it, it becomes tolerance, which is true. When we don't accept uncertainty, it becomes fear. When we accept it, it becomes adventure, which is true. When we don't accept others' bad behavior towards us, it becomes hatred. When we accept it, it becomes forgiveness. When we don't accept others' success, it becomes jealousy. When we accept it, it becomes inspiration. So here's the punchline. Acceptance is the key to handling life well. So in Bhagavad Gita, that's the surrender to Krishna message, but it's the acceptance. The acceptance is surrender, or surrender is acceptance. Now here's one more. This is a very nice teaching, Jiva Goswami. Please accept me awards the soul the sense of belonging to Krishna. Otherwise, one adamantly tries to belong to so many different things. Prabhupada. Our method is to pray to Krishna to give us the necessary strength, that's all. Otherwise, by regular practice, this age is very difficult, unfavorable. First thing is, memory is very short. We cannot remember. Life is very short. At the same time, so much disturbed by anxiety, by disease, by natural disturbance. Roga, shokadibihi. Every moment there is something for which you have to lament. This body is a breeding ground of all kinds of disease. So how is it possible to practice? Therefore, this one practice, chanting Hare Krishna and hearing, that is very nice. and praying to Krishna, please give me the strength. Hare, O energy of Krishna, O Krishna, I am fallen, I have no strength, please accept me. That's all. I have no qualification, I am frail, I am trying, but I'm failing. All these appeals should be made, and Krishna is all-powerful. He can do anything. Even we do not perform, trying our best. If we fail, Krishna will help us, just like a child tries his best, but he falls down. The mother takes up, and, all right, come on, walk. Prabhupada is giving these very simple worldly examples, but his experience is being just demonstrated by how he conducted himself, and different reversals came his way, and how did he handle them. I'm looking at the clock, and it's almost 9 o'clock. According to the schedule, we're supposed to end at 9 o'clock, yes? Yes? So we have 7 minutes for a question or two. Those of you would like. Nandi Mukhi's got a question or comment or whatever you'd like.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you, and Hemangi Mataji for facilitating this session. I'm just maybe one sharing on acceptance. I think acceptance, what I heard from the lecture today, is not about being passive or given up. It is about consciously acknowledging the reality as it is, without any judgment or resistance. And I feel that the challenge in acceptance is often that it requires us to confront our insecurities and fears. And because due to our conditionings, we may tend to criticize some aspects in us that we want to change. But on the other hand, the acceptance is about embracing all aspects of ourselves and others, and to shift from fighting the reality to building deeper connections, and also which leads to meaningful changes eventually. And I think from this perspective, we can say that acceptance is a foundation of unconditional love. And then personally, I think I experienced this acceptance from exchanges with you. And one example is, I think perhaps I was studying in a university and perhaps already took the first initiation. And there's one time that you gave a lecture to the Bhakti Yoga Club, and perhaps it's related to false ego. And I wasn't used to asking questions at the time, but I somehow raised my hand. And I said, I feel very nervous and shy in front of people, and I want to hide. Is that due to false ego? And then you look at me and said, that's your nature. You're like that. And then you elaborated. I feel that simple act of acceptance from your side immediately reconciled many struggles and conflicts from my side. And I think acceptance is very crucial for one's development, but it is also very, very rare in this world. And thank you for making it available so abundantly to us. Hare Krishna.
I don't remember that particular exchange, but it doesn't surprise me. And, that shyness and reserve and, your nature, you somehow got over that one. And that's quite okay. Spiritual life is dynamic, not static. As you were speaking, I was remembering a situation. The first time I was in China was in 2010. And I was in an airport in Beijing and waiting in a departure lounge. I wasn't with somebody because I was, anyway, there was no translator with me, it was just me. And there was a scene in the departure lounge where there was a small child that started screaming. Like, not crying, but screaming. And so mothers in the assembly went to comfort the child. No good, didn't work. And then the mother apparently had gone to use a restroom or something and came back. And immediately the child went like that. And the mother picked up the child. The others were trying to pick up the child, but they would, continue to scream and squiggle and got down. But when it was mother, the screaming stopped. Because the acceptance was very specific in this case of a child and mother. And that's a reflection of the spiritual. Material is a reflection of the spiritual. So there's one place of shelter for us. That's the source from whom we've come. As children come from mothers, so we come from Krishna. And feeling accepted is, as you indicated properly or appropriately, it's surrender. And that's the culmination of what Krishna wants from us and what we want from Krishna to be accepted. The principle is simple, and then the application gets a little difficult sometimes. Atmanivedana. I'm looking at the clock, and the clock says it's 1 minute after 9. So this little pink slip says I can go till 9:15.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srila Romapada Swami, for explaining all this. It's elucidating and enlightening and purifying and brightening my life. So my question goes to the issue of what does that mean to ask Krishna to accept me, have faith that Krishna is accepting me, because who is me? And of course, in one sense, it's easy to answer that question. Me, it's the Atma, it's the spirit soul, it's everyone's an eternal servant of Krishna.
But
and yet, it seems like a tricky idea for me, because we're asking the request or for Krishna to accept me. It's about my interaction with Krishna now, and now I am partly acting out of devotion to Krishna and partly not, and so I'm not. So what am I asking Krishna to accept? Not the anarthas. Am I asking Krishna to accept the pure me that I don't fully realize, and the part of me that's trying to become free of the anarthas and be devoted to Krishna?
Krishna knows, and an honest person, those who are at least striving to be honest, will acknowledge what you've just acknowledged. The one foot in two different boats situation, the mixed position. So the Krishna's benevolent nature, so we have to remember who he is and his capacity. He can purify the impure. The classic example that Prabhupada gives is place gold in a situation where the gold is made hotter, and then the impurities separate from the gold, and you have pure gold. So by Krishna's acceptance of the mixed is to engage us in his service, accepting that service, including the mixture and removing the mixture, depending upon the fire-like or the intensity of the submission. Sincerity, maybe that's a better word, the sincerity of purpose, even in the mixed position. And then depending upon, because it's reciprocal, there's effort and then there's the mercy, and with confidence that Krishna's nature, so he'll accept us and at the same time purify. To the degree that, Krishna knows, do we really want purity, or are we quite comfortable with the mix? Thank you. So Krishna won't interfere, but he'll reciprocate. So then the answer to, a response to your question is, each of us should examine the sincerity of purpose. What the sadhana is revealed through the sadhya. Do we really want? These questions that were in this presentation. Do we really accept? We're quite insignificant. And we're content with that for eternity. And then, and so forth and so on. So a long answer to this very simple question. Krishna will accept us. And depending upon this sincerity with which we want Krishna exclusively, then he'll reciprocate and help us come to that stage of exclusivity, or the removal of unwanted things along with the wanted thing. It's reciprocal, dependent upon the sincerity. So that word sincerity becomes a really important word. What is that? Rupa Goswami, we have a whole presentation on what is that. Rupa Goswami discusses it in Bhakti Sandarbha. That's another time, another class. Sincerity. What does it mean? In simple language, as opposed to being crooked or duplicitous. You say something, but you don't really mean it because it's convenient to say something. It sounds nice, but it's duplicity. So sincerity is there's no duplicity. It's just that sincerity. And so we're not there yet because, we're mixed. So the sincerity is moving towards the unmixed. I want I'm not there yet, but I want that. It was touched on in this whole presentation also. So I'm looking at the clock, and we have 7 minutes remaining. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a question about self-acceptance.
About which?
I have a question about self-acceptance and
Okay.
with relation to confidence. In the real world, we are supposed to show up with the confidence at each and every step. And in a way, once we accept ourselves, confidence comes with that as well.
Yeah.
But then we feel that there is a sentence, we are insignificant. So how these two can be clubbed together to implement it, not being pompous, but having confidence with self-acceptance.
Okay.
I'm not sure if my question is clear, but
It's a little fuzzy, but I think I got it. The confidence is that Krishna knows. And Krishna knows that we don't know. But Krishna knows. So then there's this sincerity issue. So, well, it's, my approach to Krishna may be fuzzy. Krishna knows what's behind the fuzzy. So there's this mixed hope. I can trust that Krishna knows and that Krishna can pick me up and etc., etc. Even I'm very tiny and, less than perfect and make mistakes and subject to illusion. I'm this defective, broken entity that broke my relationship with Krishna. But Krishna knows. So then the main function on our part is to align ourselves with true north, or wanting to make that connection again. So Krishna will accept us, then what about our accepting Krishna? At the third of these three positions. He's our protector. And we don't have another one. And we can try another one or another ones, and there's no shelter there, no lasting real satisfaction and shelter. Because it's like that example in the Beijing airport departure lounge. There are many mothers in that lounge, but it's not my mother. So there may be other, but there's no other for the little child. I think I'm going to end so that we can move on with our schedule. You want to say something, Sri Radhika? You got to do announcements. Okay.
So, as you can imagine, it takes a lot of financial resources to put an event like this together. So we're very grateful to our sponsors, and as I call your name, we would like you to please come forward and receive Mahaprasadam from Maharaj's hands. So our very first sponsor for this morning is a sponsor for breakfast by Stoka Krishna Prabhu and Manasi Ganga Mataji, who have been attending these festivals for 20 years, for as long as they've been in existence. So we're very grateful for your sponsorship.
You just set them right here. Just set them down.
We also have for breakfast another sponsor. I want to request Melissa Mataji and Brendan Prabhu to please come forward to receive a gift. They have become an indispensable part of our family for the last year. And Brendan Prabhu is receiving initiation on Sunday. So we are celebrating. We have an anonymous donor whose grandfather left his body recently, And he wants to request us to please pray for auspiciousness, blessings for the smooth journey of his soul towards Krishna. That is the sponsorship for lunch. We also have Radha Preeti Mataji. Is she here? She is also a sponsor for today. And then we have a couple devotees that have sponsored honorariums for our speakers. Dhananjaya Kondapalli Prabhu, are you here? Please come forward. Thank you for your sponsorship. He is also receiving initiation along with his wife. Is she here? Indira Mataji? Please come forward and take blessings. Oh, sorry. Lavanya Mataji.
Lavanya.
Please come forward and take blessings from Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
And also an honorarium sponsorship by Vadanya Mataji. Thank you very much for your sponsorship.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, time for practical announcements.
No, there you go. This is for her. You husband got it.
We still need 2 to 3 devotees to help with lunch cooking for today. So if you feel so inspired, please go see Amrita Kelly, Devi Dasi. And tomorrow is 64 round day, but we're still going to be eating. So we need 2 to 3 devotees to sign up for lunch cooking at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you're willing, please see Amrita Kelly. And one of the issues we're having is that we don't know who is intending to volunteer. So if you would please send a text to her to let her know so she knows, okay, and she's not freaking out that nobody's going to show up at 10 a.m. We also invite everyone to please go back to that WhatsApp group and sign up for services. We have lots and lots of vegetable cut up and cleaning needed, and we actually don't have so many people signed up. There is an announcement related to logistics for Harinam that Amrita Kelly has sent out in the WhatsApp group, so please check that because there's lots of things to arrange in terms of parking and departure for this evening's Harinam in downtown. And finally, just in terms of our schedule, from 9:15 to 10:30 is what time? Not just breakfast, it's also service time. So it's breakfast and service time until 10:30. 10:30 we will come back to this room for Kirtan by Shatarupa. And at 11 we have a podcast-style interview with youth. We have Dayanidhi, Pranavalabha, and Rohan, who is also taking initiation on Sunday. So please come back for our very own podcast at 11 o'clock.
Podcast.
Podcast.
Can you explain why that's different than everything else that we've been doing? What's the podcast part?
He knows, smart.
It's the presentation where they'll be expressing their journey with the holy name.
Yeah.
And the only difference is there'll be some prompting questions, Maharaj, for them. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not going live with Namra style, late morning program, none of that.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.